Welcome to Combat Sports Talk, a podcast dedicated to UFC and Bellator discussion, the MMA community, and combat sports in general. I'm your host, Ryan Smith, and joining me this week is the man with the keys to victory, John Keys.
Did you know that Jean-Claude Van Damme was in Breaking?
I did not know that.
Yes.
I got to go and find it because I would love to see him do his blood sport splits. Does he do it?
No, actually, he does every other. If you watch Kickboxer, he's actually doing almost the same exact moves.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Which, as I recall, are terrible. Terrible dancing. Okay.
And not terrible and off clap, but that's a
maybe it was just a bad dub. We've also got Kelechi Casey Onyebuchi.
Well, hello, everyone. Did you know that George Washington Carver invented way more than peanut butter? I thought we were just doing random facts.
We can do that.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. And the coach to the stars, George G Money Stallworth.
No random facts.
Oh, you let us down.
But if you want one, I'll give you one.
Tell us something about the history of Muay Thai.
Tell me
I'm
something
going to give you one I was
good.
told tonight on Facebook.
Uh-oh.
We are 10
So you
times
know it's
more
true.
likely to have scholarships. Random facts.
Yeah, there
Go
goes.
ahead.
Well, that
I'm
happened.
sorry.
There goes 10 times part of our audience.
I didn't even say who we were. It could have been martial artists are 10 times more likely to have scholarships.
MMA podcasters.
Yeah, MMA podcasters are 10 times. See, exactly. I got 3 of y'all here, and you've all had scholarships. MMA podcasters are 10 times more likely to have scholarships.
There it is. So,
All right.
so my crazy fact is this, and I saw this. I've recently, because I have a 14-year-old, I am recently exploring TikTok. And so I came across Neil deGrasse Tyson, who said that 11 plus 2 is 13. 12 plus 1 is 13. If you write those words out, 11 plus 2, it's 13 letters. If you write 12 plus 1, that's 13 letters. And 11 plus 2 and 12 plus 1 use the same 13 letters.
The more you
Mind
know.
Mind
That's
blown.
wild.
That's mind blowing.
Yeah,
Try it for yourself.
I have nothing. Man.
That is evidence that we actually live in a simulation.
But what if you're spelling those words in another language? Then it doesn't
Well, then
work.
it doesn't work. Yeah.
Exactly.
Or not. I don't know what language.
Or does it?
Yeah.
What language are you using?
Cantonese, of course.
Can we get this show back on track already? Ryan already made the note that, hey, we're going to be sideways off the rail here, and you guys just leaned into it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, thank you, Coach. That's exactly. I need somebody to be able to keep us in the lane for this show, or otherwise we're going to be 3.5 hours and we'll never even get past the first story.
Hold on, man. Hey, if people are willing to watch like The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, they can watch our show. Okay, 3.5 hours.
We're as good as J.R.R. Tolkien. I mean, I'm here for it.
Or at least Peter Jackson.
Well, I'm just saying, what do they know about MMA?
The Hobbit? Probably a lot. Like in that story, there's a ton of fighting in that.
I bet
that
they're
is
not 10 times more likely to get scholarships either.
On that note.
So let's get into it. The first story we're going to do tonight is our headliner, the number one thing I want to talk about. Let's get into it. This is the headliner. All right, folks, Conor McGregor is back in the news. He was detained for an alleged attempted sexual assault and indecent exposure in Corsica. That's over in Europe.
What part of Europe?
Yeah, see the way
The
my
European
math
part.
works.
I'm an American. I'm not responsible for knowing where stuff is other than where Texas is.
Is that
So-
what we do?
I feel bad
No,
for
that's
Mr.
not true.
Sellers.
My geography is pretty good. I think
was-
it's in France, or it's a province of France.
It's actually off the eastern seaboard.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't know. I'm making stuff up.
No, you're not.
The thing with Conor, I hate that he's constantly in the news because technically he's retired, right? As Dana White would say, you can still get in trouble while you're retired. But there's just so much about Conor that I just feel he gets away with way too much. Like, this guy should have been in jail long time ago for all of the assaults he's had. Like, he's a problematic dude, and yet for Law and Order people, those same Law and Order folks seem to love a guy who breaks the law. So, I mean, I know it's controversial, but I'm just gonna say it. Like, we can't be all Law and Order is the way to be, and then be like, oh, my guy's just a rebel. Like, come on, fam.
So
But that's just me.
Coach and I were talking about this before the show, and you know, the thing is that yes, Conor McGregor seems to be retired from MMA, but still competing with John Jones for the number of times you can get in trouble and not go to jail. I mean, well, I guess he's not winning because Conor McGregor appears to go to jail a lot.
Yeah, that dude has a room in every country.
Okay. Corsica is in the Mediterranean Sea. It is politically one of the 18 regions of France. Weird fact, did you know? Coca-Cola was invented by a Corsican.
No, okay. I did not know that.
Well, the more you know.
We got to get the now. We got to get the drop now because we keep saying it.
But this man, come on, Conor, you're rich.
I was reading a story.
Let me ask y'all something here.
Okay, go ahead.
I haven't read any of the details on this, but when I first heard public indecency and attempted sexual assault. Now, mind you, I'm also a former law enforcement officer who specifically worked with sex offenders for over 12 years. Well, 10 years, I'm sorry. There I go adding years on. When I heard this, my first thought was, this is a money grab. I didn't know any details or anything about it, but that was my first thought. Then when I spoke with Ryan informed me a little bit more of the details. Apparently, there was a bathroom involved, and he was leaving the bathroom. Is that right, Ryan?
That I couldn't find the story, but I read that he was leaving the bathroom. There was a lady who was on her way there, and he pulled it out. Allegedly pulled it out and exposed himself in front of her.
All right, I found a story here, and go ahead.
Yeah, just before we jump into that, like, we're in a weird time where there's some sensitivity on both sides of, like, when an accusation is made, yes, we want to believe all women, and then there's also that other side of it that it's just like people are just over all of this, and they want to move past all this and assume that most of this is just made up. The problem with calling this a money grab is there's no financial incentive for it. Like, and blackmail is illegal. So an accusation against Conor does nothing but ruin your own reputation. So we don't
know the full details. How do you know it wasn't, hey, here's Conor. Dude, if you don't give me money, I'm calling the police and I'm telling you you pulled your junk out.
Didn't you see that Dave Chappelle skit where they found out that he had $55 million and he was getting a haircut, and he was like, well, how much for the haircut? He's like, $300. That's the same thing. It's just like, hey, we find out you got some money, all of a sudden I need some.
Yeah, but to extort Conor for money, there's so many easier ways.
Really?
Please. I mean,
like what?
Please go tell.
No, I don't mean.
Yeah, come on.
Not that there's not easier
Full screen.
ways.
Yeah.
But Conor is a soft target when you think about it in terms of the amount of arrests he's had, the trouble he's been in with the law previously. So, I mean, there are ill-minded people out there who take advantage of people who've been in trouble before. I mean, we see it all the time just with the police, the way they handle people when they pull them over for a broken tail light. And then all of a sudden it's like, who's in the backseat of the car with you? You have no
Yeah.
business knowing that.
So
I
where
didn't
I
mean to
come
take it
from
there, but
is
I'm taking it there.
no, I totally get that. So where I'll put it is just this notion of like I am always going to lean into the notion of sexual assault victims. It is, I'm just going to go with vulnerability here. Having been a sexual assault victim, it is really difficult to come forward for a lot of these accusations, and there's so little to gain from it that when I hear a sexual assault allegation, my default is like there's at least a grain of truth to it. And yes, let's be real, Conor has to have a lot of security around him because there are people trying to get after him, but he's also a notorious lush. And getting him to pick up your bar tab and drop a couple grand on you is not a problem. So to extend this to, I'm going to extort you, like you're putting yourself at risk if you're trying to extort a celebrity because their lawyers will crush you. So there's just so little upside to this versus I can easily get a couple grand out of Conor.
And it's funny that you say that because that's actually the scenario that he was definitely coming out of the toilet, and he exposed his junk to this lady after a heavy session of drinking.
Like the dude's a lush. It's notoriously easy to get the notorious to mess up.
Okay, I was gonna say, are you just dropping the word notorious just because that's his fight name, or
yeah, he's earning that rep.
But that's the thing too, is that when you start thinking about, and Dana White, of course, anytime one of the former stars or current stars of the UFC get in trouble, the first person they run to is Dana White for a comment, and Dana White was like, crazy things happen when you're in that type of lifestyle. You try to go and act normal and be normal, and it's hard to do sometimes. He's like, I'm not defending Conor in any way or form. I don't know about the situation to talk about it all, but I do know I've gone out with him before, and it's bat crap nuts.
Yeah.
So
it's real.
It's real that when you are Conor McGregor, trouble will find a way to find you. So that's
or
Conor
vice
McGregor.
Versa. If you're Conor, you can find trouble real easy.
That's right.
Which he has done on many occasions.
So Coach Carlos is watching. What's up, Coach Carlos? He wants to know, is exposing yourself sexual assault? He says it seems like a slippery slope if we go down that path.
In and of itself, no, because you can also be charged with public indecency or exposure for taking a leak in public. And there was no intent to. Go ahead, I'm listening.
Oh, no, I was going to say he's charged with both. He's charged with sexual assault and
sexual assault.
Attempted sexual assault and public indecency.
But we haven't heard anything on the attempted sexual assault. So an attempted sexual, well, not even an attempted, a sexual assault would include some form of touch, or in this case, an attempted form of touch against that person's consent. It doesn't necessarily mean that it had to be sexual in the manner, not sexual, but to a sexual organ, but touch in a sexual manner. I had intent to sexually harass, assault, or something her. That could have been touching her in a place other than a genitalia area. The public indecency is what really throws me off on this. I don't know if I'm making myself clear here, because the two can be so diverse in what they are. No, different in what they are.
Yeah.
Because public indecency literally can be someone using the bathroom in public and someone saw his penis. That is public. That is public indecency. That can be called public exposure or whatever.
I mean, they could be following the American standard, which is to overcharge. Just throw anything that can be thrown, and then see what the DA is willing to plead down to.
Yep.
But he for sure has to get that public indecency one, because I mean, anytime you've got an organ out, like it's a problem in public, generally speaking.
Well, we don't even know for sure that his genitalia was out.
Okay,
that dude needs to start wearing a body cam. Let's be real. Conor needs a body cam at all times.
Yes. Indeed.
All right, so let me read John has the report.
Okay, so the report reads, according to a witness who spoke with the complainant that same evening, and whom we are able to question, McGregor, accompanied by his bodyguards, allegedly exhibited his private parts to the young woman without her consent as she made her way into the bar toilets. So it sounds like to me that he was either coming out or she was going in, or and he had his Willy Wonka out there trying to give a golden ticket to the young lady. I mean,
My guy,
Wow.
for real?
We got analogies here. We're
My
going Willy
guy.
Wonka here. Charlie and the Chocolate
Golden
Factory.
ticket.
The problem with this whole thing is like there's
okay,
at this point
can't.
no need for speculation. There's
Yeah.
like either there's video evidence or there's not. And typically in a club, there's gonna be some level of video evidence. And you've got witnesses, and like of course your security guards have to be on your side in theory, but enough evidence will come out within the next couple of weeks that it feels premature to even really go down this path other than the statements have been made and we can only wait for the evidence, which I hate that I'm that guy now saying let's wait for the evidence. But in this case with a guy with so many accusations, it would be really easy for us to go in on Conor and then find out like maybe it was a misunderstanding. So I'd rather err on the side of caution on this particular one because I've been known to go hard against some of these fighters and then run into them.
although let's
catch that fade by Conor.
Just watch that left.
Coach Carlos say about this?
Oh well, what he said is well, I mean, he said the problem is that we're at a point where we can overreact on everything now, and you know, I know that it feels like we overreact to everything now, but at the same time, it's one of those things where there's a desire to make sure that we don't allow wrongdoing to linger.
Yes.
Because we've seen someone do something wrong and then they get away with it. And so we begin to want to make sure that if someone is doing something wrong, that we call it out, that we bring attention to it, because for so long people have doubted that this happened. They've given someone who didn't deserve the benefit of the doubt, and they walk away scot-free, free to do the crime again. So we have to react and we have to go and say something and treat everything very seriously, which definitely does put at risk people who might be innocent. And we already know what happens when the other side of that happens, where someone makes an accusation that is not in truth and it's taken very seriously, and we've taken someone's reputation through the mud, and we've treated them, we may even have convicted them and they've served time, and then we find out later that everything was made up or it was a misunderstanding, and you've taken decades from someone's life. We know that it happens on both sides. So we have to try to find that balance within our society to be able to say, on the one hand, this was wrong, and we need to take this very seriously, and we need to make sure that justice happens. But at the same time, if innocent until proven guilty is to mean anything, it is to say that we have to make sure that due process happens when these accusations are made. Let's go on. There were fights this weekend, and I want to talk about it because the fact is that most of the MMA world didn't think that these fights were going to be any good, and whoa, were they wrong. This is the official decision. This is the official decision. This is where we're going to talk about some of the fights this past weekend. We are going to cover Bellator 245 and finding the angles. So for those of you who are like, wait, Bellator fought this weekend? Yes, they did. Now? Of course we're talking Bellator. We got to talk about the bet. The bet that I technically won. The bet that I technically won. Major market teaser. I had a bet with Coach.
Oh, yeah.
And I technically won that bet. Anyway, here we go. This is UFC.
See how you,
hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, understand.
Win.
Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how Ryan tends to argue with technicalities. We saw the fight. He's going to talk about the fight, and we're just going to say, Well, you know what? Why am I spoiling it? Go for it. Go for the thunder.
Yeah.
There,
No,
sir.
no, we have to wait till the next segment to do that. We got to cover
Oh,
And
the
why'd you
official
even
decision
bring it up, sir?
because I want to make
Teaser.
sure that nobody tries to preempt me by saying when I go into UFC Vegas 10, Waterson versus Hill, someone's like, wait, what about Bellator? No, we're gonna get to Bellator because this is a
Hey,
UFC podcast.
Ryan is
This is a
on a
podcast
roll
dedicated
tonight.
to
First,
UFC and Bellator discussion.
his girlfriend Angie Overkill Hill is
Headliner.
on, the official decision, and then he gets to talk about this technical bet that we have. But come on, let's go.
I bet
Yeah.
the
UFC
crow
Vegas
button's
10,
working
Ryan.
tonight. I bet the
Let's
crow
roll.
button's working tonight too.
Oh,
ain't
it's
I
working.
bet-
It's
oh,
working.
it's on and
it?
popping.
It's on. Yeah, I got like 3 new crow sounds. You might not even recognize them. No. UFC Vegas 10 Waterson versus Hill, Saturday, September 12th, 2020, at the UFC Apex Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. We had 6 fights on this card. Kyle Nelson lost to Billy Quarantillo via KO. He got knocked out. It's 7 seconds in round 3. And that was just basically just a straight, just blow. He came walking out of his corner and just caught a fist to the end.
Well, he called it 2-piecer. He called it 2, so bip bip, and it was over. I was like, wow, okay, wow. But I mean, that was a great fight. I mean, from prelims all the way through, that card, UFC Vegas 10, was a great fight. Please continue, sir. I'm sorry.
No. This is the part where we discuss the fight. There's a lot of hype following Billy Quarantillo right now. So I'm excited to see what he does next. I am not on the hype train yet, but I am looking for a ticket. Bobby Green defeated Alan Patrick via unanimous decision. It's 30-27 all the way across.
Bobby
Ed
Green is on a roll.
He is.
Yes, he is. Yes,
he is. That's another one we got to keep our eye on. Like, the great thing about this card is that there's a lot of these lesser known fighters that are making big waves in the UFC, and they're 1 to 2 wins away from breaking through and becoming legitimate stars in their weight classes.
I want to break free.
Oh.
No one. Okay, cool.
All right. Ed Herman defeated Mike Rodriguez via submission in round 3. Kimura, deep Kimura.
No, but did he really defeat him? Because if I remember correctly, he looked like he was out earlier in the fight.
Yeah. So who wants to talk about what happened? What had happened?
I didn't see it, so please go ahead.
So they are fighting. Mike Rodriguez has Ed Herman up against the cage. They're grappling, and in the grappling exchange against the cage, Mike throws a left knee to the liver of Ed Herman. And so what we know about liver shots is that when you land that liver shot, it doesn't immediately hurt. There's a delay. And so he lands the knee, comes down, he's continuing to fight, and then all of a sudden, Ed Herman's elbows pinch in, he crouches over, and then falls to the mat. And so it's like, oh, the fight's over. Mike Rodriguez wins. No, the referee runs over, separates them, and calls it a groin strike. Gives Ed Herman 5 minutes to recover.
Oh, God. Boss Ruben cried a little when he saw that.
And yeah,
wow.
And so Coach Carlos said that Ed Herman deserves an Oscar. That was not a low blow. Replay confirms that it was not a low blow, that it was a clean shot to the liver. It seized him up. He even talked about it thereafter. And what happened is he knew that he did not have a low blow. He said that he didn't know what it was. He just knew that he felt terrible after that strike. And the fact is it was a clean liver shot. Ed Herman, having had a chance to recover, did take Mike Rodriguez to the ground, sunk a Kimura, and it was deep, and ended up Mike had to tap. Rodriguez assigns no blame to Ed Herman. He said Ed Herman did nothing wrong. I mean, technically, it's a fight. If you are hit hard enough to be able to be out, and the ref is not calling it out, why would you say no? Technically, I'm out. Just give me the L.
Like, no, I lose.
No, just give me the L. He got me. That was a good one.
Hey, that's the spirit of good sportsmanship.
Thank you.
I would never.
Yeah, I'm like,
I would never.
Like, I'll say it after the official decision has been read.
Yeah, let me take this dub real quick, and then I'll be like, oh.
What? Y'all going to give me 5 minutes and I get to come back out and fight again? Yes, I'm taking that.
Well, you know who wouldn't take that is Anthony Smith.
Yes, we know that's true. That Anthony Smith would be like, no, that was a clean strike. Ring the bell. He should win. Give me my other team.
I wanted to make fun of him, but I also don't want that smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah, you back in different now,
right?
Yeah. So, wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that happened, man. That sucks.
Dana White calls the referee mistake a Mazzagatti level mistake. That's pretty bad when now Steve Mazzagatti is such a bad ref that he's got now kind of that meme. He is when you make a bad refereeing call, it's a Mazzagatti.
Nah, dude.
Isn't he the ref that like used to do the inverted heart or something? He put up the little.
No, that's Yamazaki.
Mario Yamazaki.
But Mazzagatti was not as bad as Yves Levine. Okay, let's put it out there. Yves Levine was the absolute worst ref that they have. Mazzagatti and White just don't like each other. All right.
Mazzagatti made a lot of mistakes, and Mazzagatti made a lot of mistakes. Like, I'm just gonna say, I don't know. I don't remember.
Reffing is not easy, man. Let me tell you, it is not an easy job, and
Agreed.
you are hard pressed to make snap level or snap decisions really, really quickly, and they affect fighters' pay. They affect fighters' careers. They affect the UFC. They affect the state because you're there on behalf of the state. You're representing the state when you're a referee. So, anybody that dumps on referees, I get it. You hear guys say it all the time. Don't leave it in the hands of the judges and the refs. But at the same time, the referees are there to protect fighters, and most referees do an amazing job. We're all human. We're all going to mess up.
Well, there you have it. There will be no dispute on that.
And yes, I'm also a referee.
Well, yeah, I mean that's right. Like, there are some great referees out there. When Kelechi and I fought, that was an outstanding referee. Gave him an 8 count, standing 8 count. Gave him a standing 8 count. Kept him safe from these hands. Anyway,
you know what? So, I wasn't gonna say anything, but you kept going. You kept going. Texas is a short trip for me.
I got locks on my door.
I was gonna say, yeah, Ryan. He's been at the gym training with me some too, so you better watch out.
I have been working on my kicks thanks to Coach.
Oh no! See, okay, I don't want any of that. This old man don't want any.
Thank you for that shout out last week too, Casey. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, thank you for almost making my heart explode. That was fun. I legit have a inhaler because of you. Thank you.
Let's go on. Roxanne Modafferi, the Happy Warrior, defeated Andrea KGB Lee via unanimous decision. I am on the Roxanne Modafferi hype train. I've been on it for a while. She is not the perfect fighter, but dadgummit, she has a lot of heart, and she's just so nice. How can you not root for Roxanne Modafferi?
Say you have a crush on this woman.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I like her. I would hang out with her.
You had 2 of your favorite female fighters fighting this week
on the same freaking card. Yes.
Question.
What MMA gods are you praying to?
Oh
no.
It starts with Bizarro.
But real quick, why doesn't Modafferi ever actually move up? I feel like she strings together wins, but like is still not in title contention at all.
because her fan base are people like me that just really like her and follow her, but she's not. I mean, she doesn't have.
She's definitely not a household name.
She's not a household name. She did fight for the 125 title, at the Ultimate Fighter. She fought Sabaru Eubanks and lost, but it was a late fight replacement. So that's the only title shot she's ever gotten, and so she's trying to work her way up. I know she'd get dusted by Valentina Shevchenko, but still, I'd love to see her give it a shot. Who, you know, there's always the fighter's chance. I would love to see her have an opportunity at that.
Yeah, she definitely had the fighter's chance this week. She came in as an underdog, and she was not going to give Andrea KGB Lee any type of room. Anything that Andrea had, Roxanne was countering or just denying, and it was beautiful. I was impressed.
Roxanne has been fighting for 17 years.
She's been there, done that.
She's been there, done that. She was one of, you know, that first wave of female fighters, and she has persisted all these years.
She's got the Demetrius Johnson effect, like a very niche following, but just really good at what she does and connects really well with gamers and anime folks, but it just has not crossed over to like mainstream popularity because she is like part her hair down the middle gamer girl kind of appeal, and that's not for everyone. But if we're looking at just like true MMA fans who are doing this for fight style, like she just has a lot of veteran moments where she knows how to find a win.
Yep, and that's why I like her. Atman Azatar defeated Kama Worthy via TKO at 133 in round 1. This fight was basically like they said go. One person heard them say go. The other person was like, wait, when does this thing start? Azatar went across the cage, beat up Worthy, finished him, and then walked away. They've already got another fight booked for this dude. Like it was that quick. Wow. So, you know, he says he's out to win the heart of the people, looking for a Fight Island. You know, we've got 4 fights coming up to Fight Island pretty soon. So he is one to watch. I'm not on his hype train yet, but the way he dusted his opponent on Saturday night, I am interested to see what he can do next. All right, everyone say goodbye to Coach Carlos.
All right, Coach.
Deuces, Coach.
Au revoir.
And then in the main event of the evening, Michelle Waterson defeated Angela Overkill Hill via split decision. And that it was a close fight to call. Like, you know, first 2 definitely for Angela Hill. The second 2 for Michelle Waterson. Her sidekick was super effective.
Vicious. Very vicious. Very
just kept putting it out there. The last round was back and forth. I could have seen it going either way. The significant strikes was heavily in Angela Hill's favor, but unfortunately, the judges scored it in Waterson's favor. Although there was one ridiculous judge who scored it 4 rounds to 1, which I just simply don't understand how you could score it that way.
I don't know what fight they were watching. They like you said, they said go and they went, and I mean it was good fighting. That was good, strong fighting, and you know during their promo they called Angela Hill the female Donald Cerrone, and I'll take that because I mean I will take that because when she's there, but when she's off, she's off. That night she was there, but I think I had Angela Hill winning that. I won't lie. And I love Michelle Waterson. I mean, she is an awesome fighter. But I thought Angela won that.
It was very close. It was very close. Of course, in the previous show, I did pick Michelle Waterson to win.
What?
I did.
You picked against Angie?
Wow.
Where's your Black Lives Matter card at? We taking that tonight.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
You know,
Okay. Yeah. No, but I really did. You know what I said was I really like Angela Hill. My heart is in her corner. Like I really want her to win. But I really did think that unless Angela Hill would get this fight to the ground or do something that was going to stop Michelle Waterson's really, really technical kickboxing, it was going to be a problem for Angela Hill. And at first, why are you looking at me strange, Kalechi?
You said kickboxing instead of karate.
Okay, karate. She's boxing and then she kicks. But anyway,
Oh, you are not making any friends tonight.
yeah,
remember
the style.
Michelle Waterson, it is that Ryan Smith says. Remember that on Facebook. Ryan
Yeah.
Smith says.
So, but still, I mean, we knew that her kicks were going to be a problem. Like that's
Right.
always what you have to address is Michelle Waterson's kicks, and they eventually became the thing that even Angela Hill said, when I started getting hit with these kicks, I knew that it was looking bad. It wasn't hurting me, but it looked bad to the judges. And that's what happened in round 3 and round 4 and a little bit in round 5. At the end, the flurry, you know, Angela Hill just looked dominant. She landed 2 big old elbows at the very end of the fight, which could have stolen the round, which probably should have stolen the round. But when you have a judge scoring it 4 rounds to 1, when Michelle Waterson is nursing a huge freaking hematoma on her freaking head, it's like, what are you watching?
Exactly.
So anyway, shout out to Angela Hill. I'm still on your hype train. I'm sorry I doubted you, but you know,
we saw this happen in Lionheart. Okay, the Jean-Claude Van Damme's trainer put money against him. Broke Jean-Claude's heart.
wait, did Jean-Claude Van Damme lose?
No, he actually made him mad, and then they weren't friends afterwards.
Okay,
That's what
well,
happened.
you know, I mean, I was proven right. Like, you know, I voted with my
For
head. I
once,
don't do it very
Ryan
often.
Voted with yeah. I was like, normally you're just like, look, I know this person's gonna lose, but I'm picking him
But
anyway.
I'm with him anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, Ovince say Prue,
But
right?
every time he picked Angie Hill, she has lost.
Yeah.
That's not true. That's not true.
Let the record show.
What is this, the Cosby Show?
I mean, I'm just saying, Angela Hill's gonna find us, dude, and I'm not gonna be happy.
Well,
all right?
she has
I'm not
found
gonna
us
be happy.
before. Like she's
Yeah.
like responded to a comment from Ryan once or twice, I think.
Not anymore. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
See how that works out for you now.
Yeah, probably not well. So let's go ahead and close the book on this one. Put this one on the shelf because this card is history, and go into the headlines that are making waves in the UFC world in Finding the Angles. Angles, and this is where we're going to talk about some of the headlines. The number one headline of this segment is Bellator 245 results and video highlights. You can get this on video highlights. You can get them on bloodyelbow.com, where Bellator 245 had 1 finish and 2 no contests due to groin strikes. We're going to go through some of these results. Of course, in one of the feature fights, Raymond Daniels versus Peter Stanowick. Is that correct, George?
Not quite, but keep it going.
Well, what is it? Stanowick. Thank you. Stanowick. Sorry.
Oh God. God.
Yeah.
Raymond.
I can't wait till the next time I talk to him. I'm going to see if he'll come on the show.
Yeah.
So
Don't do
gonna
this.
Talk down.
No.
Tell him how much you were backing the GOAT.
So let's talk a little bit about why this is a thing. So, I saw that Raymond Daniels was on the card. John Keys and I, we raved about Raymond Daniels in one of the his first knockout in Bellator. It was just this spinning kick that turned into just a spinning punch, and it dropped the dude right off the bat. So we're like, Raymond Daniels is the new MVP, right?
Right.
And so George comes up and he's like, well, you know, your boy Raymond Daniels is getting ready to get a loss because he's fighting my boy Peter Stanowick. And so I was like, oh, well, apparently you don't know who Raymond Daniels is, and I'm talking all this smack to George.
He talked some cash smack too.
I talked a lot of smack. So George is like, well, let's go ahead and put a bet on this. And normally I don't bet on MMA because I'm usually wrong. But
he felt safe taking this bet.
That's right. It felt like a sure thing, so I went on and bet this. So we had a bet that George had Peter Stananek and I had Raymond Daniels, and we agreed on the terms, and then that was it. Like, fight came, and I'm watching the feed all the guys are watching it. I'm on my date night, so I can't watch the fights because
I was wondering why you weren't responding. That makes sense.
Because I was on date night, y'all. I can't.
There you go.
Listen, I'm trying to stay out of trouble.
Loving his wife. Aww. I'm here for it. I'm making fun of you, but I'm here for it.
I know 2 weeks ago we had him in trouble. We had him out late.
Yeah, I was like, hold on. Don't ever listen to the single guy. I clearly don't know anything. Just you do you. I'm here for it.
So I couldn't actually watch the action. All I could see was the conversation going back and forth, and I heard, "Oh, that was a groin strike. Ooh, that was really bad. Oh, that's terrible." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, there's groin strikes in the thing." So I just kind of like tossed the phone. I'll see who wins the result later when George is going to be filling up the bet for me, paying off the bet. Then I come back and find out that the thing was scored a no contest because Raymond Daniels landed 2 illegal strikes to the groin in succession, and Peter Stananek couldn't respond.
What? You didn't watch this fight, did you?
I didn't watch the fight.
Okay.
But that's the salient point, right?
That's a very tame.
That call out was uncalled for.
Yeah, that was a very tame version of what you gave. Okay. So family, if you go on Facebook, there's this comedian that dresses up like a martial art master, and he always does these videos of how to do multiple kicks to the groin. Okay, it's hilarious to find. All right, what happened was that Raymond Daniels did a jumping reverse spin kick into the guy's nards. Okay,
like he said nards.
he kicked him. It was bad. I mean, it was bad. Okay, so they give him his full 5 minutes. Stananek thinks he's still on the planet Earth. He's okay. So he throws a round kick, a high kick to the head. Why? Then Raymond, he went for the same exact technique, a jumping reverse spin kick into this guy's nard. There is no cup there anymore. The cup slid up into his back, and it's like he can't have kids for like the next 3 years now because of Raymond Daniels.
So
sorry, Peter. Okay.
So basically,
he died for like 2 minutes on the ground.
So here's the thing, though. By virtue of the number of significant strikes landed,
what are you counting?
We're only talking about these. Clearly, these 2 strikes were significant. You can't dispute that. So based on these significant strikes, clearly I won the bet. My guy won the fight.
No, not quite. But I like your attempt at that.
It was such a beatdown that they called it. There was no contest.
What did you see?
By that logic,
go back, watch this fight. Peter lit him up all through the first round, and on top of that, there was ground and pound. Peter doesn't even go ground and pound. He is a striker. He typically fights Muay Thai. He took an MMA fight against one of the most recognized fighters on the planet and handed him, and let me quit. He handed him a butt whooping in the first round. So much so that Raymond Daniels said, "I need a way out. Let me kick somebody in the balls 2 times."
Real quick, I have a question about the bet.
Yeah.
Ryan, what was the bet exactly?
No, you're not going to get me on the fact that because I said my guy was going to win, and he said his guy was going to win, and since my guy didn't win, I lost. No, that's not going to wait.
That's exactly how it goes.
No. No,
if we're doing
Peter has to
semantics
have
here,
surgery. Peter has to have surgery to get his athletic cup removed.
it's
Okay, you
still
know that, right?
it's still a push because George's terms was that his guy was going to win, and clearly his guy didn't win.
Yeah, he did.
George, was that your term, or was it that the other guy wasn't gonna win?
No,
Look, it was declared.
don't
a
be
no
an Ed
contest.
Herman. Don't be an Ed Herman.
I don't know that reference.
We just
Just
talked
saying.
about it.
I'm just saying the cup was like this, and now it's like that. Okay,
And
that's
now it
all I'm
runneth
saying.
over.
Ryan, when you get a chance, I really want you to go back and watch that first round, and I'd really like
Coach is mad
you
at
to
you.
tell me who you thought won that fight.
Coach.
Let me put it like this: you know, a striker is taking a butt whooping when they turn into a wrestler.
Yeah.
Raymond
Yeah.
Daniels shot for a takedown. Show me any other
That.
fighter Raymond has done that to.
Nobody.
All right, then that tells you
Nobody.
very much what you need to know. Peter was walking him down, and that was gonna be a really good fight, man.
Yeah. So I can say that I did see an article that said that Peter is okay, that he got checked out, that there is no lasting damage to his groin area.
I was gonna say he actually hit me up, text me later on at night, or DM me. He said he was okay, but dude, that was brutal watching those two shots.
Oh man,
You
I can't
heard
even
those
imagine.
shots.
And then because there's no crowd, all you're hearing is Peter, down on the floor, wailing in pain, wailing like, dude, it was severe.
Wow. All right.
There's gotta be some revenge.
They're talking about running it back. I do not think that I will engage you, Coach, into
You want to know
another
where
bet.
they smoke?
No.
Well, actually, the bet should stand because technically the fight was never finished. It was just declared a no contest.
Well, no,
That's right.
that
True.
was it. The fight is over.
There was no end to that because technically you guys didn't say for this fight. You just
No.
said
No,
Thank you.
there was
Thank you.
there was an
Win.
understanding. There was an understanding that the fight that we were
I
talking
don't know
about
what you
was this
understood.
weekend.
that doesn't hold up in court. Sorry, sir.
in
We
Black
do have
Panther,
Yes,
alright,
exactly, John Keys.
Killmonger threw him over the edge, but
Because he
T'Challa
wasn't
did not
dead.
die. So the fight was
Fight
still
never
going.
ended.
The challenge was still going.
The fight ended. The
No,
fight.
it was declared a
It-
no
bruh.
contest. It said no contest. It didn't say the fight was over. It just had to stop.
Yeah, Peter literally just went over the edge, and they had to put his whole body in some ice and go find him some heart-shaped herbs and
my
help
gosh.
this boy out. So it needs to be ran back for a part 2 with
All I
think
know is
athletic
with
count.
with the shot to the groin, the power of the Black Panther was stripped away.
Peter,
This has
don't
been
stop
your
for
cultural awareness.
No,
segment.
Peter, don't do this, man. Okay, don't
Oh,
find
man.
us, man. Okay, all right, please don't find us. We laughing with you,
But-
man. We ain't laughing at you. All right, remember that.
I just want to say that first round, Peter was giving your boy the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
If you get a chance, Ryan, go back and watch that fight. It started out kind of calm or whatever. Raymond comes out, he's throwing his spinning stuff.
Mhm.
And Peter's like, yeah, we knew this was going to happen. Eat this leg kick. Eat this leg kick. Eat this check left hook. Eat this check right hook because I'm a southpaw and you wasn't expecting that while I check your spinning back kick. That first round, and then on top of that, Raymond shot for a takedown. I was like, really? Oh, you're a wrestler now.
Wow.
That's when I knew. I was like, yeah, this is not going to be good for him.
yeah.
I'm a wrestler, baby.
All right.
Just want
So,
you to know.
So let's talk a little bit about Kazmat Chimaev. He's someone who is really got a lot of hype following him. He's a great fighter. He's just starting his career in the UFC. And I think we got video of him stopping to feed a homeless man in Las Vegas. And so it was just one of those things where it's just such a really nice, refreshing thing to see kind of the UFC fighter walking the streets, and reaching out to a homeless person. And so I thought that was noteworthy to just say, hey, look, this dude did that.
And it wasn't his video, was it? It was somebody.
No, it was someone
captured
else.
someone's way. And that is the true measure right there. That he did this without anybody knowing he actually did that. That is manhood. That is an adult. Okay. That's adulthood at its finest. Doing the right thing when nobody else is looking. That's what we should take away from this.
But I always feel like somebody's watching me.
Oh, brother. Here we go.
That's all I got.
One of the things that was very that we heard a lot about, and there were a lot of people tweeting about this and talking about this, is Navid Afkari. Navid Afkari was a wrestling champion who sought to protest in inequality and injustice in Iran. And he was taken into custody, and he was sentenced to death. And over the weekend, he was executed. And so it was something that there were a lot of fighters who were speaking out. This was something that there was a there was an outpouring of sadness in the MMA community when we learned that Navid Afkari was executed. So we had this on the show last week. I don't think that we talked about it, but we were going to talk about the fact that Dana White actually did some press talking about this and talking about the fact that he had gone to the president of the United States to see what he could do to prevent this execution from taking place. Clearly nothing could be done because the execution happened. But it was a very sad thing. Dana White says he reached out to the president in an effort to save Navid Afkari. It's a sad thing that he tried to help.
I am so torn on this one because my feelings towards Dana White remain somewhat contentious. But I think in this particular instance, he did the right thing in using his contacts. It boggles my mind first that like there's a broader part of the story that like an officer was killed, and it wasn't necessarily the protesting that he was killed for. It was for allegedly murdering an officer. And so like that makes a precarious twist to the story because his confession was allegedly coerced. So
right.
It's hard to tell another country how to run their justice system when we struggle with running our own justice system. So we don't really stand on a leg of authority when we go to another government and say, hey, don't kill this person, when how often do we have exonerated posthumously convicts? So it's tough there, but it also rings to mind that I believe that everyone is allowed to have their causes that they want to champion. But as much as Dana White denigrates his own people within the UFC, saying like, if you want to speak up for Black Lives Matter, then don't just hashtag do something about it. And you can go back a couple episodes where I'm saying if Dana White has access to the president, then why isn't he doing something? Why is he spending his time talking bad about his fighters when he has access to the quote unquote leader of the free world who can make a difference? So what Dana White proved today, or proved during his press, where he explicitly says, I talked to the president, and then we see that the president really did respond. He has access to the highest levels of government, but he won't use his power unless it directly affects him. I don't even know. Like, how is it that this rose to the level of concern outside of the country when his own fighters are saying, we don't feel like we are being humanized within our own nation. Help us. And Dana White falls silent. Like, if we have an America First agenda, then put America first. I got a little heated there. Let me
And
Well
that's the
said.
show.
The silence was deafening because it was so well said.
Yeah. Feel your feelings, dog.
What else is there to say? And that's the thing, right? Is that you would expect that someone, whenever the problems that we are experiencing in our country that is so readily visible for Dana White, that he would use his influence to try to affect change. I agree with you. And it's great that he did it for Naveed Afkari, but I would have loved to see him do it for someone here.
Breonna Taylor. I mean, let's just keep putting that name out there. Like, not a single word, not one. Come on, fam.
It's easier to appreciate the fruit furthest from your own door.
It's hard because it like I am on him for this, but at the same time, he did do a good deed. I'm just struggling with this notion of how do you neglect people in your own organization? Just like, is it for the press to look good? Like, it literally doesn't make sense how he's been silent, just deafeningly silent about what's happening here in the US, but he suddenly has a platform and a voice for something that's outside of our borders.
So here, I am not trying to dispute you. I am 100% in agreement with you. However, there are you have to look. Another way to look at this is the fact that Iran is known as a totalitarian regime. They are an enemy of the United States and have been treated that way for a very long time. So when there is, human rights and injustice taking place within the nation of our enemy, it is something that we see with a very critical eye. The fact is, though, is that you and I and many of us, many of our listeners know that there is, what's it called, a splinter or a thorn in our own eye, and so it's very difficult to see that, because in seeing that, you have to then question the greatness of the nation that you have been touting. And so it's very difficult for someone like Dana White, who has the level of access to the president, who does not respond well when someone questions the greatness of our nation, when someone points at a place where we could be better. That is something that is met with severe retribution. And so, one, from just his own perspective, he doesn't see it, because that would require him to then become critical of something that he has espoused. But also, even if he did see it, there are consequences that I don't think that he would be willing to face if he did step out and was critical and did support a Breonna Taylor, or did say something, in support of some of his fighters, because the support that has bolstered his business since day one would go away, and he can't afford that.
Yeah. All right.
Self-preservation, I get that.
So, in order to preserve self, that's why this past weekend in Nevada, Dana White, Henry Cejudo, Justin Gaethje, and Colby Covington were at the Trump rally in Nevada.
Are you serious?
Yes. Oh, yeah. That's line 29 in the run sheet.
Spoke at the rally, didn't he?
I don't know if he spoke at this rally. He did speak at the Republican National Convention. But he did get a shout out from the president. The president also, in other comments, expressed his support for Colby Covington in the fight that we're going to cover this weekend. And also you had Henry Cejudo talking about, Trump Nation being in the house. And so they definitely did show, on behalf of the UFC, their support for the sitting president and his attempt at re-election.
So before I go off the rails, let
I
me
told you the
first
show
say
was going to
that
go off the rails.
And you knew
my
the
guy,
moment
you
it was
set
gonna
me up.
happen.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Because you knew I wasn't going to look at the run sheet. It's a weird paradigm for anyone who wants to talk about keep politics out of sports. There's so many different angles that we can take about other sports playing the national anthem and their support for the military and how all of that is not patriotism but paid advertising. But in this particular case, for anyone who is going to dissent with what I agree with, just know that if you're telling me to keep politics out of sports, you can't then support politics in sports. Like, just be aware of that self-criticism before you go in on me, because like I'm happy to discuss this in my IMs or whatever, but I will come for you. Just putting that out there before any other statement. Like,
And that is not a threat, it's a promise.
Oh, I don't make threats. I make appointments.
So to paraphrase what Casey just said, he said, "Try Jesus, please
Not
don't
me.
try me." All right,
Because he
'Cause I
throws
throw
hands.
because he throws hands.
I mean, he only hit you
No,
once.
Oh, for real?
I'm just saying, it only takes
Tell 'em
one
about
shot.
that one shot.
No, I'm just saying, it takes one shot, you're out. He only need to hit you with one. That's all. Dude is strong. Look, you thought I was coming critical, and I was supporting you.
No, it's a weird one. I mean, I say let everyone do their own thing. Like, I would question some of the merit behind why Colby is there. Like, we've seen that it's not a policy reason that he supports Trump, but you know, whatever. Everyone's trying to get paid. So it seems strange to me that like people are still like, with knowing the facts that we know about Trump and his presidency, knowing what we know about Dana, knowing what we know about Cejudo, like some of this just feels like, if you know you're being played, why are you still on the same team?
Because
like
sometimes
that's what I don't get.
It's called the point of no return. With Kobe Covington, it is the point of no return. Where it's just better to just go all the way to the end than to try and turn around and try and make amends. He's riding into Cejudo, Gaethje. I was unaware of that situation. I don't know how to feel about that. I mean,
That tax bracket changes a whole lot.
Apparently. And, you know, I say that, but I also say this. Everybody's entitled to how you feel. Okay? Everybody, we live in a land of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, a freedom of speech. You have the right to say whatever you want to say, and the government cannot say anything about it.
But I can.
However, your neighbor might have a word or two. That being said, if that's what they want to believe in, that's what you want to believe in. Just when it's all said and done, still please stand by those guns.
Yeah. Quite literally.
Yeah, you're going to need to. All right. In the last story of the night, Tyron Woodley, because he is the other side of the cage, said that Nick Diaz has done enough to be inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame. I wanted to go around the horn and see what everybody thought about that statement. Coach, I'm going to start with you. Do you agree with Tyron Woodley that Nick Diaz has done enough to be inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame? I'll give you full screen.
I don't know enough of Nick's history to say yay or nay. On the outskirts, I would probably say yeah. He's fought in Strikeforce. He's fought at high level in the UFC. His war with George GSP. But I honestly don't know enough of his history to say yay or nay on that. And what I would critique is Hall of Fame worthy.
All right. Kelechi.
I have exactly the same thoughts. Like, I almost lean towards no just because I don't know. Like, I feel like the UFC hypes enough people up that the fact that I don't know his resume speaks to maybe he's not worth it. No, let me rephrase that. It's not that he's not worth it, but you do have to be more selective about who you let into the UFC Hall of Fame. Like, having one win over GSP, does that get you in?
Yes, it does. Anyway.
So then, in that case, then Nick has earned it.
Yeah, you stole my thunder, by the way.
Don't be bitter about Matt. Okay, don't be bitter about Matt.
Oh no, that was solely to poke the bear with Ryan. I don't actually care.
Yeah. I need you to get through your point so I can start raging about Matt Serra. But you go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish.
Yeah,
all right, John, you're up.
All right. I do know a lot about the Diaz, both Diaz brothers. If I'll say it like this, if you could have Clay Guida and Diego Sanchez, which nothing against
Wait,
those
is Clay
fighters.
Guida in it?
No, he's in the Hall of Fame for the fight between him and Diego Sanchez, which was an absolute. If there's any definition of a dog fight in the cage, you need to go watch that fight. It was literally that good. I would put Diaz in there. I would put Diaz in the Hall of Fame. I'd sit him right next to Robbie Lawler. I really would. You know,
Robbie's not in there
is
yet.
legendary. Diaz brothers have a cult following that a lot of people who are just hardcore MMA followers. Okay, these guys came shortly after the Zuffa era started. Okay, and they started and they just grow this cult following. I mean, if you watch some of Nick Diaz's fights, you will understand why I think he does. He has a candidacy for the Hall of Fame. I agree.
Well, he does have that win over Robbie, and he scared the Jesus out of Robbie before they fought. Walked into the cage yelling Stockton. Robbie Lawler looked around and was like, what?
But here's the thing with the Diaz brothers. They were ahead of the game when they came into it. Like they're incredible. Their cardio, first of all, but their wrestling acumen just higher than most people in the UFC at the time, coupled with the jiu-jitsu. Like they were complete fighters when others weren't. But what we didn't see was an evolution of their fight game. To this day, when you fought a Diaz brother and you figured out a win, you never had to worry about him again. And that to me doesn't scream Hall of Fame. Like, yeah, you were a good front runner, but to be Hall of Fame, I would think like you would have to be one of these transcendent fighters who just kept adapting. And I hadn't seen that with them. And they're on that decline. So,
well, I would put them in the pioneer wing then. The pioneer wing of the modern era. That's where they belong. That's seriously where they belong.
Yes, absolutely. If Matt Serra can be in the Hall of Fame, then Nick Diaz needs to be in the Hall of Fame. Heck, half the UFC roster needs to be in the UFC Hall of Fame. If you could put Matt Serra in the Hall of Fame, you could put Nick Diaz, you could put Nate Diaz. I mean, heck, these guys have brought in so much money and so much attention to the UFC during their time when they were hot. You know, they've done more for the UFC than Matt Serra ever did.
Stop. When they were hot? Look, they were hot? Hold on. Nick Diaz just announced it last weekend. How many people lined up? Fair
enough. I retract my when they were, because they are hot.
Well, let's go back, because you remember there was a point where Dana White said Nate Diaz is not a needle mover.
And yet still,
then he fought Conor. He fought Conor, and then he fought Conor and beat Conor, and then it was like, oh.
That's what I'm saying. People count the Diaz brothers out, and I'm like, that is the last thing you should be doing. You should be like, if a Diaz brother says he wants to fight, let him fight. Okay, because you're gonna get. I'm not saying you're gonna get ultimate John Jones, Conor McGregor. Well, you might get Conor McGregor money. It just depends on who he fights. But you're gonna get a draw. Okay. But if you put a Diaz brother in there, and it's a good fight, it's gonna be a powerful draw. Those two men are needle movers, whether you like them or not. Like them, hate them, can care less about them. Okay. They are movers just for their antics alone. They bring it.
Speaking of bringing it, let's get into the fight card. We got a big fight coming up this weekend. UFC Vegas 11, Colby Covington versus Tyron Woodley, Saturday, September 19th, 2020 in the UFC Apex Arena. This is the fight card. All right. Now, according to MMA Mania, we got like 1,000 fights on this card. So, but there are a lot of big names, and so I want to go through all of them because we have our our show favorite on this card. And so I want to make sure that we are shouting out and making our picks. Starting off at the heavyweight division, Shamil Abdurakhimov versus Cyril Gane. Is what you like that?
That's gonna be how much reinforcement we got in that cage?
That's a big. That's gonna
be a mover. Okay.
Yeah, that's some of that grade A beef we were talking about a few weeks ago.
Lord mercy.
In the next fight, the Trailblazer Kevin Holland is facing off against Darren Stewart. Mackenzie Dern is back versus Rhonda Marcos. I really like Rhonda Marcos, but we'll see what happens there. Johnny Walker.
Wait, will Dern make weight?
She'll make a weight. I just don't think it'll be 115. She might make bantamweight. Heck, she might make welterweight if she's lucky.
Wow.
Johnny Walker faces off against Ryan Spann. We were talking about him earlier in the show. Kazmat Chimaev versus Gerald Mearshart. You've got in the co-main event Donald Cowboy Cerrone versus Nico Price, and then in the main event of the evening, Colby Chaos Covington versus Tyron Woodley.
Chosen Woodley.
How stacked is a card that Donald Cerrone is considered not mentionable?
Yeah, he just had another kid.
Yeah.
He didn't have a kid. His partner did. I feel like that gets too much credit for dudes like, oh, he's coming off of just having a kid and he's fighting. Like, bruh, let's be real.
Well, what if
you didn't have a kid?
What if she punched him during labor? Is it cold?
I mean, having never had kids, I would assume there's some sympathy weight that he gained too. So, maybe that's the battle that he's fighting. Come on,
it is a little bit because he's a 155er fighting at 170. We have to look and see if that's a late fight replacement. He may be just coming in to fill a gap, but he recently became a two-time father, and so
two-time for a reason.
Oh, you are bad.
Y'all know how I
Allegedly.
feel about that, man. I said allegedly, so we're good.
So let's go through and make our picks. We're gonna go through a lot of these fights because a lot of these fights are fighters that we followed for a long time. Let's start off with Kevin Holland versus Darren Stewart. Anybody here on the show got Darren Stewart? I didn't think so. No, we're gonna have Kevin Holland. The dentist is getting taken out.
No disrespect there, Darren. It's just
I mean,
Aaron is no slouch. Aaron is no slouch.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you're gonna take Darren Stewart like you took Peter Stanonik.
Colin Mary.
What you're doing?
I love how you try to start a fight between me and Kevin and Coach D, but that is not what I said. I understand how you feel now, Casey. All I said was Darren Stewart is not a slouch.
Well,
that's a fair statement.
If he was, he wouldn't be worthy of Kevin Holland. So Kevin Holland only wants the best.
Well, trust me.
Simply the best.
Darren is coming in at 3.5 right now. So I'm definitely gonna pick Kevin Holland. And by the way, I'm using the Verdict app. If you guys,
I was gonna say, where are you getting these numbers from?
I'm using the Verdict app, and they said that more than likely it's either gonna be a decision or a knockout. I like Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland, go for that knockout, bro. Okay, and try to take him out quickly. So first round, so you can go get you a pizza. All right. So that's what I'm gonna do.
So good right now.
I know, right, man?
All right.
Well, I'm looking at your boy Darren, and he's got a loss to Carl Robertson. I don't know if y'all remember him. He's more stand-up. He's got a win over Charles Bird. Charles is a local fighter here. He's got a loss to Edmund Shabazian. That was the guy that Ronda Rousey coaches.
Yeah, yeah.
Who else? I'm looking through trying to see if there's anybody else of note. Those are all I see of note. But he's like 12-5 total.
All right.
All right.
I still got Kevin Holland.
Yeah.
Listen, for those of you who are new to the show, the only reason why we know Kevin Holland is because George told us, like, you got to look out for this guy. This guy's going to be amazing, and you were right. Like, he's done wonders, and he is fighting so regularly now. Like, he's taking next up whenever there's an opportunity to fight. He's taking it. So that's pretty exciting.
Coach D said he's got like 7 fights in the UFC already under his belt.
That's unbelievable.
This is why I don't know why you would pick against Coach at any point. Like, why?
Because it's no fun if you just always do what Coach does. Because, even though he's right, you got to take a chance that he could be wrong, like he was on Saturday night.
Honestly believe that Raymond Daniels was going to beat Peter Stananik. You honestly believe that?
I'm gonna just keep.
I think we need Peter to show up just unexpected, just like walk in your background one good time, Coach, and just scare us to death. That's what I think we need to have.
No,
I might have to pay him on what's that app again? Not Cameo, is it?
Cameo. Yeah.
You know what's gonna happen is that I'm gonna have to make a new 3-shot where it's like doesn't have Coach on the screen, like I did in KC.
Look, that's no longer a problem, right?
It is not, and thank you. I really do want to say thank you for for the gift.
What? Wait, what? You did. You did.
That was the whole reason I came back to Dallas was to set things right.
Oh.
There it is.
Oh wow! Look at that! Look at that!
So there it is. So for those of you who are listening to the show, Kelechi, whenever he was here in studio, he brought back the belt that we have contended over for 5 years. Like, we had our 5-year anniversary of the fight, going back and forth about that belt. And so thank you. It really meant a lot to me that you brought it back. Let's pick the Mackenzie Dern Ronda Marcos fight.
Okay.
Let's start with you, John.
All right. So, looking at the verdict app once more, I'm seeing that they got Ronda Marcos coming in at 700, the underdog. Okay, so I'm gonna pick Mackenzie Dern, and they got her trying to submit, and we're gonna go second round submission. I'm gonna go second round submission there, because why not?
Wait, are we sponsored by Verdict right now?
No. But I'm trying to catch
a lot of free press right now.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, okay, I'm trying to catch a check, gentlemen. Okay, good.
Like in that case, Nike has been really good. We're just giving free ad spots right now.
I'm just saying, Verdict. Holla at your boy.
Holla at your boy.
All right.
I see the hustle. I respect it.
Kelechi, who you got?
You're right.
I got the scale winning this one.
Wow.
So you're saying that Mackenzie's gonna lay and pray? Is that why she's a favorite right now?
She's gonna miss weight at 115. She's gonna come in somewhere around 120.
Also, I feel like the way this comes across is like I'm fat shaming her, and I'm not in the least. I'm saying she can't make weight. She struggles like Cejudo. She struggles like what's his
Anthony Johnson.
Gastelum.
Oh
yeah.
Wow.
She's got the Gastelum problem. But that's the thing. It's like that's been so much of the conversation that I actually forgot how good of a fighter she is. I'm pretty sure she could win. But all I can think about is like, will it be even contested?
It will be contested. She will be able to fight. She's going to lose 10% of her purse or whatever, but she's going to end up walking through Ronda Marcos.
I hope she proves all of y'all wrong. I really do.
I like Ronda Marcos.
No, she's a good fighter. She's got to qualify.
I hope she qualifies and she comes in at 113. I hope she does.
For her sake, I hope she doesn't come in at 113.
That should be said. George, who you got?
Man, I think I'm gonna have to roll with Ronda Marcos on this. She's win one, lose one, win one, lose one. She lost the last one, so She's due to come out and make a statement, man.
All right. Johnny Walker versus Ryan Spann. Coach, I'll come right back to you.
It's a tough one, man, but I think I'm going to roll with Ryan Spann. And isn't he a Dallas fighter?
He may be.
I think he's out of Fortis,
Street
man.
fighter.
I think he's out of Fortis.
Oh man, don't make me do that. Y'all forcing me to make hard choices here.
You got to get a research intern.
I know, right?
Yeah, he's fighting out of Fortis. You're correct.
Oh man. Oh, Fortis. Come on, man. All right.
So I take it you're. Who
You know,
you have, John?
you know who I got. I got Johnny Walker, first round KO. Man, come on. Y'all can't
That's
be doing
a problem.
This.
Have you
That's
watched
gonna be a
Johnny
problem.
Walker lately?
I know, man. He's coming off of he's not exactly the same Johnny Walker that he was before, but I'd like to think that he's going to improve himself. Okay, that's what I.
So I was dating a girl a couple episodes back who was frustrated with my comments on Darren Till when he was talking about, I don't care about anything anymore. All I care about is this fight. And he didn't. I don't care about my daughter. I don't care about my life. I just care about this fight. And I was like, there's something about that mentality that I hate, but it's necessary, right? Like you do have to get selfish about it. And Johnny Walker was feeling himself too much. He kind of came into the UFC with a lot of flash, and now he's focused on his girlfriend and being stateside more often. I feel like some of that fire has gone. Like we're not seeing the same Johnny Walker because he's too in love with his image. He's been caught looking up at the scoreboard way too often. Like he's not in the fight, and that's what's needed right now. He's not at a level where he's just leaps and bounds above his competition. He has to get his head in the game. And I don't know. I haven't seen much of his last 2 months of training, but I can say this year he's been focused elsewhere. So if he's gotten his mind right, then hands down, Johnny Walker all day. But I can't really call it for him not knowing his mental state. So I'm going against him in this fight.
And Ryan Spann is on a 9-fight win streak.
Yeah.
You still sticking with Johnny Walker?
Yeah, I'm going Ryan Spann. I'll be the lone bird in the wilderness. I will. All right. I went on the hype train for Johnny Walker. I will stay on the hype train. Ryan, I'm so sorry. I know I'm not that far away from Fortis. Please don't get you and your crew to ride up on my house. You know, my house in Allen, Texas.
You know, let me do this for you, John.
It's an apartment, by the way. It's an apartment.
You can expect a bottle of Johnny Walker headed your way.
All right. I'll take that. Black.
All right. Wait. Hold on. I just want to make sure. Is it for this fight or any particular fights that might happen in the future where they both are on the same card?
You know what? This is into perpetuity.
Kazmat Chimaev.
Perpetuity. Wait.
Oh, here it is.
I knew it was coming.
Look, this is the longest show we've ever done, by the way.
Is it?
Actually, no. This is rivaling the show that will not be named. But actually, this one is actually a fun show.
Perpetuity, a bond or other security with no fixed maturity date. Also known in law, a restriction making an estate inalienable perpetually or for a period beyond certain limits fixed by law. And the third definition is the state of or quality of lasting forever.
I think it's the third I want to stick with. Yeah.
He did not believe in the perpetuity of military rule.
All right, there we go. Kazmat Chimaev versus Gerald Meerschaert.
Man, there's some stank on this fight.
Well, this is what's interesting about it because they've already booked Kazmat Chimaev for Fight Island. And so Gerald Meerschaert is like, listen, you still have to fight me. I could mess you up. Like, it is presumptuous to go and book another fight when you haven't fought me yet. He's like, I am a person who ruins Cinderella stories, and you, my friend, are a Cinderella story. So just on, like, all signs point to Khamzat Chimaev is going to win this fight, but just on spec, I'm picking Gerald. Just because of that.
Do you think Gerald's gonna do something just raw and try to injure him for his second fight if he feels like he's losing?
I recommend that Gerald might consider learning a spinning flying back kick technique. If things start going wrong, just keep pushing that A button. Pound the A button.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Coach, who you got?
You know, I don't want to overlook Gerald. I don't. But I'm really liking Khamzat. And I look back at Gerald's history. Gerald has lost a few fights, but they've all been to like some really game opponents. He's lost to Thiago Santos. He's lost to Jack Hermanson. He lost to Trailblazer, Eric Anders. I think there's like one or two other losses he's had. Yeah. So
okay.
Like Gerald's not a joke, but he's faced some top level competition, which leads me to believe he could actually edge this out against Khamzat. You know what I'm saying? Because he's been in the thick of it with guys who are in the top tier of that division, man. For Khamzat, I kind of feel like this is a big step up for him, and it's show and prove now. You know, yeah, you got this other fight waiting in the wind, but Gerald is not a joke. And on top of that, Gerald's got like 50 fights. This is not some new guy in the octagon that you're talking about facing here. This is a veteran.
Right.
I got Gerald by arm in triangle.
You know.
All right.
I got when it comes to the guys that you mentioned there, Coach, those are guys that I can see Khamzat, fighting, and fighting and winning for the most part. So, on top of that, any guy whose name can if you just rearrange the letters, can turn into hazmat, I'm good. Okay, so
I just want to go back and reiterate what you're saying here. You're saying Khamzat could beat Thiago Santos.
I say it'll be a hell of a fight. It'll be a hell of a fight.
You're saying Khamzat could beat Jack Hermanson.
It'll be a hell of a fight.
Kevin Holland.
Yeah.
Watch yourself.
It'll be a hell of a fight.
Eric Anders.
Yes.
Oh, he could be Eric Anders.
Yes.
Yeah, we're all like, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah,
right.
I can see it. So yeah, and on top of that, it doesn't win, lose, or draw. He's still gonna fight on Fight Island, and so I think, do I understand the disrespect? Yes. Do I think it's a little bit overdrawn? Yes. I think Khamzat is focused on Gerald, and then soon whatever happens here, he's just gonna refocus on to Fight Island. So I give it to Khamzat. I think Khamzat will pull it out.
All right.
It's just gonna be a stanky fight. That's all. It's gonna be some stank.
Co-main event: Donald Cowboy Cerrone versus Nico Price. Coach.
I think Cowboy has seen his better fights, man. I follow with Nico on this. And the game plan to beat Cowboy is out there already. Everybody knows. Jump on him early and don't let up.
Okay, Kelechi.
Against my better judgment and everything within me, I'm picking Cowboy to win.
Right.
I said that with a tear literally going down my eye. I hate it so much.
Dang, somebody littered. And John Keys.
And I'm going to consult the Oracle here. Heads or tails? I think we'll give tails to Cerrone, and
good.
So yeah. I give it to Cerrone. All right. I give it to Cerrone.
I'm gonna go Nico Price. I think I agree with Coach that the Cowboy Cerrone has seen better days. That last Conor fight says a lot about Cowboy Cerrone. Main event of the evening: Colby Covington versus Tyron Woodley. Let's go with you, Kelechi. You had a lot of things to say last week. I
just hope that this fight gets canceled. I hate Colby so much, but let's be real. He's gonna work Tyron. Tyron is old, and it's not that he's old; it's that his fighting style is old. And he talks about, the more he says he's gonna let loose his hands, the more I believe he's not. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't even want to watch the main event. It's gonna be that bad.
Wow. All right, Coach.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think I'm rolling with Kobe as well, man. I hope that Tyron comes out and puts on a different show, but based on the past few fights we've seen with him, I don't see how he's going to do it, man. Tyron's one of those guys, he doesn't change up his game plan. He does not make adjustments well. And
yeah.
John
Doesn't it just hurt to say this out loud?
Yeah, like everybody seems demoralized.
Dude, that is like us conceding. That is like us conceding that Trump's going to win this next election.
Well, and you know what? Okay, I've had this. All right.
Like, let's please, can we get through the show? If y'all want to do this, we can do this in the post, the extra rounds or whatever. we got to finish this show. Come on.
Okay, I would say it like this. Okay,
all I do was mention it.
No, John Keys was getting ready to go in on it. Like you mentioned it. I'm fine with you mentioning it, Coach. I'm just saying John Keys was like, okay, here we go, and was like, no, gotta keep it reined in. Just dial it in for just a few more seconds.
I would say it like this. Okay, there's people out there that can get beat all their life, but then there's that one person that they have their number, and I do believe that Tyron Woodley has Kobe's number. Okay, I do. I think he's gonna be that one dude that Tyron's gonna be like, you know what? I can get beat by the entire roster, but I cannot get beat by this one, over here. So I'm gonna give it to Kobe. All right, Kobe. God. Oh my God! I'm giving it to Tyron.
Your brain wouldn't even let you do it.
No, y'all done brainwashed me. Y'all done did it to me. I'm done. Y'all trash. Okay.
I gotta get that drop, man. I gotta get that drop.
In the first half.
No, it is Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley will be Kobe Covington. I'll say it.
So I will say this: if you are right, sir, we're gonna have a signal, and you can have me play the crow all throughout the next episode if you're right.
Wow.
Because I'm going Colby Covington. I just feel like Colby Covington is so productive. He's got so much energy. He's got so much pressure. He's a great striker. He can take a punch. This is just going to be one of those things where we're going to see whether or not the chosen one can survive the chaos. But I have Colby Covington. This fight may go the distance, but it may not, and it just pains me to see Colby Covington put Tyron Woodley potentially out of the UFC.
That's what's going to happen if Colby wins. That Tyron will leave. He will retire. He's not.
He'll take one more fight.
Nah,
he'll take one more fight after that.
Take one more fight to get the win and go out on a win, I think.
Yeah.
He will leave from embarrassment. Okay, he will leave from embarrassment.
There's no embarrassment losing to a Colby. He's dope.
There's really no embarrassment in losing. It's just the fact that you spent all these years talking smack, saying that you wrote a rap song about beating somebody's tail, and like that's your persona, and you said you were going to do it. When you finally got into the ring to prove it, you couldn't get it done against somebody who now has the ability to clown you for the rest of your days. It's just that's the hard part. But Colby Covington, I don't think any of us would dispute the fact that he's a great fighter and deserves the accolades that he has. It's just we just don't like the way that he's going about promoting himself. All right, follow us on social media. On Instagram, I'm at Combat Sports Talk. John.
I'm at Keys to Victory, and that's Keys with an ES.
George.
Darkside _Muay Thai _
And Kalechi.
I am at Obfuscated. That is spelled OBFUSC, the number 8, TED.
All right, there you go. You can find us on our website at www.combatsportstalk.com, and we are on all of your favorite podcasting platforms. We got them all up here at the top. That's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Apple Podcast, Periscope, and Spotify. Shout out to MMA Junkie, MMA Fighting, MMA Mania, Bloody Elbow, and the Intelligent Defense Discussion Group, where a lot of these conversations begin and where the sites that we get our stories for the show. On behalf of George G Money Stallworth, John Keys, and Kelechi KC Onyebuchi, my name is Ryan Smith, reminding you to keep your hands up, your chin tucked, and throw bombs. We'll catch you next time.